there are 5 kind of facilitator selves, right? And we're just going to go through them briefly and then talk about them. The presenter, the supporter, the facilitator, the catch-all, the coach, and then the confronter slash explorer. Let's go through all of these real quick. What does the presenter do? What am I doing when I'm presenting mindfulness for the first time in this training just an hour or so ago, right? I'm bringing information that you might have. I'm offering this metaphor. I'm putting slides up on the screen, right? I'm engaging in some form of storytelling, right? And what I'm trying to do, at least when I'm with youth, of course, different online, is something we're all learning to deal with right now. When we're in person, those vibrations are there. When you're telling a really solid story, when you're painting the picture for people, they are on the edge of their seat, they're locked in, right? And that skill gets better and better as you practice over time. The primary skill of the presenter is to present information that the youth or that the people we're working with may not have, whether we're teaching about substance use, information, whether we're teaching a skill, whether, going over the nuts and bolts of what the skill is, whether we're telling a story, whatever it is, the presenter is a very important role. The next is supporter, right? This is what therapists tend to do very naturally, right? To be in that supportive role, to generate and cultivate that compassion. Why? Because sometimes I can't tell you how many times I've facilitated this curriculum, went in for session 2 or 3 or 4, had my agenda all ready to go. And then I went in to the juvenile hall or wherever I was working, and bullet pointed my agenda out there. And then we circled up in the group, and one of the youth's brothers had just got shot and killed, or somebody's mother had died from cancer, or this tragedy or that tragedy happened, right? When something like that happens right in front of you, we absolutely do not want to be like, hey, I'm really sorry for your loss, but let's move on with this curriculum, right? Remember, the curriculum comes through you. It's really important to meet people where they're at. So we want to get in that supportive role sometimes, right? We want to show them that this is what helps build that relationship at times, and shows the youth that we are actually there for them, right? And we want to foster that emotional safety that we were talking about before. So that's the primary skill, is being present and being compassionate. Think about just a few experiences, a few memories you've had where you've been in that role. Are you very comfortable in that role? Does it make you uncomfortable? Are you good at it? Just think about that for a few moments. Next is the namesake, the facilitator. The facilitator is very, very important for this curriculum, if not the most important skill in this curriculum. And the skill that we're flexing when we're facilitating is we're drawing out, right? We're drawing out of the youth. One of the most basic things, both in individuals, but more so in group context, especially with adolescents, is this may be their first group they've been in, let alone first mindfulness practice they're ever trying, right? Or they may be somewhat familiar with it, but they may be a little bit guarded, right? How do you build group cohesiveness? Well, at the very base level, the first thing you want to do is get youth talking and comfortable talking, hearing themselves talk in front of you and hearing themselves talk in front of other people. That's how you start to build cohesiveness, right? So we want to draw out from them. So for example, when I say, let's pause for a moment after the meditation, what was that like for you? What's coming up for you right now? Let's hear from a few people on the Zoom call. That's me flexing the facilitator role right there. This was a new ad. I just added this one because I've been really kind of nerding out on this a lot. This is the coach role, right? Like, what is a coach? A coach helps somebody go along a certain path and get to a specific goal, right? Here, you'll see in the background, that's Steve Kerr and Klay Thompson. I told you I'm a basketball fan. I'm a Golden State Warriors fan. And so we're not always in a coach role, right? But there are times when a youth comes in, or a young person, or whoever you're working with comes in, they're not always 110% resistant all the time. So it's not like they come into every group or for the whole breadth of your relationship, they're like, screw you, I don't want to learn this. Sometimes, especially when you build receptivity, when you build trust, youth will come in and say, you know what? I do have a problem with my impulse regulation. I do have a problem with my drug use, and I want help with that. Can you help me with that? Right? When you're honored enough to be in that role, that's when you say, yeah, I can help you with this, and you would coach them along that path. And our goal is to really help them build skills and awareness, right? So we're coaches in the sense that we're like mentors, life coaches at times, health and mind coaches at times. We're not the traditional football or sports coach that's barking orders at them. I know you all know that for sure, but I just wanted to say that out loud, right? And then finally, and this is what a lot of people struggle with at times, this is the role of the confronter or the explorer, right? Confronter sometimes has confrontation sometimes has a negative connotation to it. I actually don't mean it in a negative way. I just mean it as like something is arising in front of you, some type of resistance might be arising in front of you, for example, and you're taking it on head on rather than avoiding it. You're exploring it out in the open. You're unearthing it. You're confronting it, again, not in a negative way, but confronting it in a way to which is bringing more awareness to it.